We all share the same earth and sky, and today this was Mason's Step Working Guide, and it's November, so the 11th month, step 11, if you're into practicing the steps that way. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with our values, with love as we understand it in the present moment, praying only for awareness, depth, strength, and a better understanding of our values so that we have the power to embody and carry them out in a healthier way. That's how I would put it. Our own spiritual path. The 11th step allows us the opportunity to find, I would say, discover our own spiritual path or further refine it if we've already embarked on one. The steps we take toward finding, discovering, deciding, even, or refining and the way that we walk down it will depend in large degree on the culture in which we live or have grown up in. Previous experiences with spirituality can also be an influencing factor in what best suits our personal nature. So everybody has a kind of authentic way of being. And so what resonates for us, like some people go to meditation centers, some people go to church, some people go rock climbing, some people sit on the couch or in a chair and crochet. It's depending on what resonates, what harmonizes for the person so that they have the sense of physical, mental, emotional, attitudinal alignment. Our spirituality, which is how I describe it, our attitude that we hold towards reality, towards our life, has been developing since we first came to NA because I couldn't live with or without the drugs. I had a really ugly relationship with reality and was always attempting to evade it or escape it. And I was using that through drugs, I was using it through food, I was using it through shopping, I was using it through relationships so that I didn't have to directly accept responsibility for my relationship with my experience. I was attempting to do it indirectly through a lot of various means. And so we are constantly changing, and so is our spirituality. So our attitude, our spirituality is not a pet rock, just like the disease of addiction is not a pet rock, a belief, an idea. Things that the ego, the mind is coming up with, they're not pet rocks. They're fluidic. It's a flow. It's a projection of mind's hallucination. And so we have to have like this certain ability to respond. And that's why values turn out to be a very good higher power, because my values allow me to navigate reality and present moment experience, not through the past, not through the future, but here and now, utilizing my values. And so new territory, new people, new situations, moment to moment to moment, have their effect on us and influence on us, I would say. So our spirituality needs to respond, rather than react. Because when I personally am reactive, there's some variation or expression of anxiety, and if it's anxiety, then there it's survival on a spectrum. And so when I'm responsive, the volume level on anxiety is lower, it's quieter. And so, my values like abstinence, refraining from an activity or behavior for a greater good, kindness, goodwill, generosity, sincerity, compassion, loving kindness. Having conscious contact through attention so that my values aren't a philosophy, that my values in a certain way, going to take a risk. My values are my religion. Religion comes from the Latin root, actually Italian, religio, what one binds or connects or ties themselves to. So I'm bound, connected to my values. And how do I want to accept responsibility for them and be them and test drive and see what it's like to live as my values? So, what's the feeling tone that's associated for me with the value? So, when it's kindness, there's a certain kind of gentleness, there's an openness, there's a spaciousness, there's non aggression, ahimsa, non harming. There's an intention towards presence, not passing through or by people or my values with a minimum of concern. Sensitivity. And when I move as that and I'm embodied as this, principles, values mean much more to me than personality. Not just my own, but others. Freedom from active addiction for me is freedom from anxiety, fear, worry, negative sense of self, from dislocating me from my values. But to have this intentional relationship with values rather than mindless relationship is super important. Values are like breathing for me. They're necessary to thrive, to move, to flow, to be in the experience of authenticity and integrity, which is my personal definition for awakening or enlightenment. May you practice your values well if you know what they are and you're willing to discover what they are. Have an amazing day.